What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, legendary, retired, undefeated, pound for pound king, former multi-division world champion, surefire, first ballot Hall of Famer, turned colorful analyst, Andre SOG Ward, and ESPN colorful analyst, boxing analyst, Max Kellerman. They weigh in on the two past massive mega fights that just took place between then unified three division world champion, lightweight unified superstar boxer, Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, when he took on undefeated, now unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer, Teofimo Lopez, and the fight that just took place this past Saturday night between undefeated two-division world champion, currently holds the WBA world championship belt simultaneously at 130, 135, Gervonta Tank Davis, and four-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Leo Santa Cruz. Now, they were discussing what was the better performance. Who had the better outing, right? Who impressed you the most? Was it Teofimo Lopez victory over Vasil Lomachenko, or was it Gervonta Tank Davis's drastic, dramatic six-round knockout over Leo Santa Cruz, in which Andre Ward stated that he believes that the casual fans will feel that Gervonta Tank Davis knockout was the better performance. Then he stated that the hardcore fans, he said, and with a little bit of hardcore fans, he said, but the hardcore fans are going to understand the difficulty that Teofimo Lopez was facing in Vasil Lomachenko. And he stated the last time I checked, Leo Santa Cruz wasn't on anybody's pound-for-pound list, and a lot of people had Vasil Lomachenko number one. Then he stated, I myself didn't have him at number one. I had Terrence Crawford always at number one, but there was a lot of people that thought he was number one on the pound-for-pound list. So to beat the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the fashion that he did, opposed to Gervonta Tank Davis knocking out, yes, Leo Santa Cruz is accomplished, a four-division world champion, but he was a heavy favorite going into that fight. I agree with Andre Ward. Teofimo Lopez's performance was better than Gervonta Tank Davis's performance if you're going to compare the two, because the level of difficulty, the opponent, the level of opponent. Vasil Lomachenko is a three-division world champion and was unified at lightweight. You could argue Leo Santa Cruz is just as accomplished as Vasil Lomachenko, but if they matched up against one another, Vasil Lomachenko, even after losing to Teofimo Lopez, and let's say Leo Santa Cruz didn't get knocked out drastically by Gervonta Tank Davis, Lomachenko will always be the odds-on betting favorite to beat Leo Santa Cruz. He's just viewed as the better fighter, okay? He was seen as the best pure boxer in the sport of boxing. So I have to agree with Andre Ward from that standpoint. Andre Ward did make mention of he feels like Leo Santa Cruz was having far too much success against Gervonta Tank Davis. Although Gervonta Tank Davis was showing versatility, it seemed like he fell in love with his power. He says, and another thing is about him falling in love with his power is that the fans are going to empower him, pun intended, by continuously to call for the seed of power on display. He stated he's going to have to get in the lab and focus on his boxing ability, because once he goes up against somebody that's going to be give him resistance to his power and have boxing skills, he's going to have a problem. So he needs to start to get in the lab. He says the problem is when you have the fans and you have trainers and promoters and managers and boxing pundits and everybody getting behind Gervonta Tank Davis because of the power he's putting on display, that makes a young man feel like, why do I have to hone my craft and work on my boxing ability when I have the equalizer? And I agree with Andre Ward as well. I think that Gervonta Tank Davis was getting touched up too much by Leo Santa Cruz, and Gervonta Tank Davis admitted this. He stated, "I was getting hit with punches I shouldn't have been getting hit with. I know that's something I need to address." So this is not like Gervonta Tank Davis is unaware of the mistakes he needs to correct, right? The flaws he displayed in the fight. Because if you're going up against Teofimo Lopez, if you're Gervonta Tank Davis, you're not going to have that room for error. If you're starting to get touched up by Teofimo Lopez, and with the power and the versatility that he has and can display, you could find yourself in serious trouble, if not knocked out. And if you're going up against a guy like Vasyl Lomachenko, if you're Gervonta Tank Davis, and he shows the level of craftiness and boxing ability and having success against you, before you know it, you could find yourself back far down on the scorecards. Now, he does have the equalizer, a la Deontay Wilder, right? One thing is for certain, that I felt like Deontay Wilder should have been using his jab more often, even in his victories, even against Luis Ortiz. I was screaming for him to use the jab and set up the punches. But when you have that equalizer, sometimes you fall in love with it. It's hard not to fall in love with it, right? Because why exude so much energy when all I got to do is land one punch, right? So, but you need to set it up. And that's what that's what Andre Ward is saying that Gervonta Tank Davis needs to focus on, is setting up that power. And if the power is not working that night, have something to fall back on. And I agree with Andre Ward from that standpoint as well. Andre Ward stated that, a lot of casual fans will fall in love with Gervonta Tank Davis because of his knockout power, right? And this is very true, right? But when you look at, Teofimo Lopez's victory over Vasyl Lomachenko, that was highly impressive. For one, everybody thought the size and the strength was going to be the advantage for Teofimo Lopez, but he showed that he was able to outbox Vasyl Lomachenko for the first 7 rounds of their fight. He showed the versatility that he was the better pure boxer for the first 7 rounds, and he kept Vasyl Lomachenko guessing and off balance and confused, dare I say. He wasn't even throwing punches. He threw double-digit punches for the first time in the 8th round. That was due to Teofimo Lopez pressuring him, giving him different angles, using his power, going to his body. So he displayed a level of versatility more so than Gervonta Tank Davis did against a lesser opponent in Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz is definitely, an accomplished fighter. Leo Santa Cruz is definitely, a great fighter, a surefire Hall of Famer. But Leo Santa Cruz, like I stated, is not on the level of Vasyl Lomachenko. Leo Santa Cruz, is great, but like I said, if you put them in a ring together, Lomachenko, I favor Lomachenko to win 9 times out of 10, right? For the most part, I just think that he's just a better, more versatile fighter. I said this in my breakdown of Gervonta Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. I stated that Leo Santa Cruz never met a punch he didn't like, and that's going to be his downfall, because in between those punches, you're dealing with a guy that's a great counter puncher, that's explosive, a southpaw, and very aggressive. That could be a major problem for Leo Santa Cruz, and that's exactly what took place, right? Leo Santa Cruz threw 3 straight right hands. Gervonta Tank Davis timed it, slipped to his left, came up with the uppercut, and that was all she wrote. Because why? Leo Santa Cruz threw 1 punch too many instead of getting defensively savvy. That's another thing. Lomachenko can be defensively savvy. Now, one thing that Teofimo Lopez did expose when facing off against Vasyl Lomachenko is that Lomachenko struggles to fight going backwards. When Lomachenko is fighting going backwards, he cannot fight going backwards. That is a hang-up that he has. You can see that, he doesn't throw punches. He's just looking to utilize the ring opposed to being offensive. He's just solely defensive, right? He's not offensive. So when you look at it from that standpoint, right, he exposed that factor in Vasyl Lomachenko. But now Leo Santa Cruz did display the fact that he can box going backwards. He displayed that he could box going backwards. He could box coming forward. The problem is he just doesn't have a lot of power, and he's not defensively savvy. So when you go up against a guy in like a Gervonta Tank Davis that has a lot of power and is very explosive, that's going to work against you. That's a bad matchup. And yes, Gervonta Tank Davis is matched well. He's matched so he could look great in his outings, right? They're trying to build him as a pay-per-view star. So I do agree with Andre Ward. Max Kellerman stated that, Gervonta Tank Davis is very vulnerable and very beatable. He showed levels of vulnerability, yes. Is he very beatable? I'm not so sure about very beatable, excuse me. There's guys out there that can beat Gervonta Tank Davis, but it's going to take a special boxer to beat him. So when you say he's beatable, I'm talking about Shakur Stevenson, right? I'm talking about Devin Haney. Outside of them, because they're pure boxers, they're not going to sit in a pocket and trade with him. Teofimo Lopez has a great chance of winning a fight against Gervonta Tank Davis because he himself is explosive, very strong, very athletic, and has boxing ability. So outside of those guys, I don't see too many people being able to tip the scales and just go out there and beat Gervonta Tank Davis. Like, he's beatable. You could, with vulnerabilities. No, it's easier said than done. And you have to have a special talent to be able to expose the flaws that he has in the ring, because he does have the equalizer, if nothing else. He's very, very fast. He's a southpaw. He does have a beautiful jab. He goes to the body, beautiful. He can throw combinations if he so chooses. I said Gervonta Tank Davis' biggest obstacle is Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Outside of that, I think it's Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Teofimo Lopez. They could give him a problem, but being very beatable means that's a lot of people out there that could beat you, and that's just not the case at all whatsoever. And those fights, those guys that I just mentioned, he also could win those fights against them. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he won those fights. You understand? So, but Andre Ward has a great point, from a boxer standpoint. There's a lot of casual boxing fans that fell in love with the knockout, and I liken this to Mike Tyson, right? Mike Tyson was a knockout machine, and people, they beat themselves before they even got in the ring with Mike Tyson because they were already intimidated. With that said, when he came up against guys like Evander Holyfield, wasn't intimidated, or Buster Douglas on that night that had nothing to lose, Mike Tyson had nothing to fall back on, right? Because they stood up to his power. They stood up to his ferociousness, and he wasn't able to receive it. He was able to dish it out, but he wasn't able to take it back. And, that could be the issue. And oddly enough, a lot of people point to Gervonta Tank Davis and says Gervonta Tank Davis is the little version of Mike Tyson, right? So he could fall in that same trap if he's not too careful. So I agree with Andre Ward. There's definitely things he needs to work in the lab. Like I said, Leo Santa Cruz, like Andre Ward stated, Leo Santa Cruz exposed a lot of things in Gervonta Tank Davis' flaws defensively. And I'm in agreement with him. And so was the judges, because Gervonta Tank Davis, after 5 rounds, was only up 3 rounds to 2. So that means Leo Santa Cruz was having plenty success in that fight. So there's evidence to back that up, and you can see that he was bruised up and marked up, and then you can see in the fight prior to this, when he fought Yuriorkis Gamboa, who Devin Haney is fighting tomorrow night. Yuriorkis Gamboa popped his Achilles in the second, third round, and he made it to the 12th round just off of being savvy. And just off of Gervonta Tank Davis seemingly just looking for the power punches. Now, he eventually stopped Yuriorkis Gamboa, but the fact that you had an injured man that was one-legged make it another 10 rounds with you spells that you need to get back in the lab when you have the talents of a Gervonta Tank Davis, point blank and period. So Max Kellerman said if you put Gervonta Tank Davis, though, this is where I disagree. Max Kellerman said if you put Gervonta Tank Davis in the ring with Lomachenko, it's going to look a lot different than when you put Teofimo Lopez in the ring with Lomachenko. And then he says, but if you put Teofimo Lopez in the ring with Leo Santa Cruz, he knocks Leo Santa Cruz out in more dramatic fashion than Gervonta Tank Davis did. I beg to differ. I don't think you can knock out Leo Santa Cruz in more dramatic fashion than Gervonta Tank Davis already did. Because Leo Santa Cruz, now you're just downplaying and discrediting Leo Santa Cruz as a world champion. Leo Santa Cruz knows how to survive. Leo Santa Cruz knows when to hold him, when to fold him. Now, he can get a little overzealous like he did, like Amir Khan, right? To say Amir Khan's just going to get in there and get knocked out in the first round, like he did with Bradis Prescott, is it's downplaying his talent, right, and his level of greatness. So, Leo Santa Cruz gets knocked out by Teofimo Lopez, absolutely. But does he get knocked out in more dramatic fashion than Gervonta Tank Davis knocked him out? Absolutely not. And does Gervonta Tank Davis struggle leaps and bounds with Vasyl Lomachenko where Teofimo Lopez made it look easy? Absolutely not. Gervonta Tank Davis has a lot of power. Gervonta Tank Davis has a lot of explosiveness. But Gervonta Tank Davis also has a lot of quick foot movement. Okay? So the movement, he can nullify Lomachenko, and he's a southpaw as well. So they're going to be looking in the mirror. So he can nullify Lomachenko's foot movement. And the body punches, the body work that Teofimo Lopez was giving Lomachenko, and at times was hesitant to throw his punches, in those spots, Gervonta Tank Davis is not going to be hesitant. He's not going to stop going to the body. And you might get him knock out Lomachenko in dramatic fashion. We got to take that into consideration. So I can't wait to see. It seems like Gervonta Tank Davis is on the road to facing undefeated, rising lightweight contender, superstar boxer, King Ryan Garcia in his next fight. Obviously, Ryan Garcia has a massive fight coming up in his own right against British lightweight contender, superstar boxer Luke Campbell, December 5th. So Devin Haney tomorrow against Yuriorkis Gamboa, and there's a lot to be desired in this division. But drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.